So imagine I did my hair the other day and I'm still getting used to my new face and how it looks. So this is going to be the first video with this new hairstyle. We'll see how many I do. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, like record 2 a week, and then just have them batched up because that is working smart, not hard. I recently realized the Bible, amongst many things, is a book about business, and God is really teaching us in Genesis about business. And because I'm a business head, my mind always goes there. But I was actually shocked and surprised to see how clear it is, clear as day. So that's what I want to go through today. Bible's a book of business. Bible's a book of business. It's a book of him bringing the kingdom down. We already know that as well. It's about a king, a kingdom, and his domain, and all those things that we know that. But it's also a very, very good business book. If you pay attention and heed to what it says, you will be fruitful. So, isn't Genesis actually where I want to go up to? Why am I doing this? Like Genesis is not at the start. Genesis is the very start. And I've got my serious Bible. I've got a Bible that's cute. Then I've got a serious Bible. And this revelation came to me actually. Conclusion of the revelation actually came to me today, but it's like it's been building up. It's been building up as the days go along. So literally Genesis 1, it says like the history of creation, right? And we know that this is the revelation um that came from God to Moses, and Moses is the one that wrote this down. That's what they believe, right? So I am part of they. It literally says, in the beginning, God created. And that's really where I want to kind of work with, right? This is in the beginning, God created. So what's the first thing God is teaching us? God is teaching us that He is a creator. In the beginning, God created. So God is a creator. Yes, we're all on the same page here. And I want to make sure that I don't speed up too much and you guys don't know where I'm taking this. I'm going to take it very slowly. God is a creator. Okay? Capiche. And then later on in Genesis, still the same chapter, we go to verse 26. So Genesis 1:26. And it says, then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Right? So the first thing God tells us is that He's a creator. And then going down to verse 26, you read it in your own time. The Bible's, you can get it online. I would say buy your own Bible, physical Bible. Read it in your own time. But it talks about the things that He then created, right? He created bare things. We don't have time. He created the whole world. Verse 26, after he's done all his creation stuff, he said, let's make man in our image according to our likeness. If he's saying our, this is just argument's sake for people that Unitarians. Why would God say our if he's just speaking, if it's just one, there's three in one, because he's talking about our, that's multiple. That's multiple. If it was just by himself, like God is three in one, yes, but there's three parts to him. If it was just by himself, for argument's sake, then he would say, let us make man in my image, according to my likeness. But it's our. So there's different. Anyways, that's not even what I'm trying to discuss today. Cool. God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Cool. Yeah? Cool. What's the first thing God said about himself? Or he showed us? He showed us that he was a creator. So if we're going to be made in his image according to what in his likeness, one of the things that God has showed us and demonstrated in the very first verse is that he's a creator. And then proceeding with him being a creator, he then created. And we are his creation, right? So he created, the creator created us, his creation. Cool? by default, because we're made in his image and likeness, one of the qualities of God is that he is a creator. So by default, we are in his image and likeness. We are also able to create, or we have the ability to create. Right. I'll give you a minute because me too, I was mind blown. I'll give you a minute. It's like you know, but you don't know. And that's why human beings create. That's why there's so many things in this world, because human beings by nature are creative. So you can't really fulfill your purpose in its entirety until you create. You have to create. By default, you have to create. That is the image and likeness that you were made in, to be someone that has the ability to create. Cool. Business is literally creating something and selling it. It could be physical, could be digital, could be a concept, whatever it is. What you have to do is make something and sell it. Could be an idea that people will latch onto. It could be a product, a physical product. It could be a digital product. It could be yourself. You create a service, so you become a service yourself. You create something and you sell it. The end. That is the end. You create something and you sell it. Yeah? So God's saying, let us make man in our own image. That's verse 26. What's the first thing that he told us about himself? That he is a creator, because he said, in the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God created. 5. The doors. In the beginning, God created. Within 5 words, we have one of his characteristics. God is a creator. 5. If I wanted to say something quite important, I would say it at the beginning. I wouldn't wait to say it. The whole Bible is important. But if I wanted you to really pay attention to something, I'm not just going to put it in the middle where you might never read. A lot of people have read Genesis 1. If you're going to read something, you will go there. You'll go to the beginning. So by the 5th word, we already know God is a creator. By the image and likeness, we've also been made in the same way. So by default, we are creative by nature. That's how he's made us. Cool. We've established that. I think I've rinsed that bit out. Now, this is where it gets quite interesting. Because God is a creator and we are creative because we're made in his image and likeness, this is where it gets quite interesting. And I was mind blown because I'm like, I've been reading this. I've read this so many times, and how I've not come across this before is a bit of a mad thing. So the whole creation story, you see that he oh gosh, too much is going on in this house. I need a studio. Get me a studio. I need a studio. Um you see that God made all these different things. He said, let the earth bring forth grass. So obviously, he made the earth first, and then the earth brought forth. And then he said, let the waters and the, what's it called? Let the waters divide, all of these things. Basically, things brought forth. The earth brought forth according to its kind as well. And even the same with the sea. What I'm trying to get at is, and then obviously he made Adam and Eve. Cool. He made Adam, and then from Adam came Eve. Yes. So God has to make one thing of its kind for it to bring forth something else. So his creation, let's say, if we use for argument's sake, he made man in his own image and likeness. Cool. From man came Eve, right? From man, as in man, male, came Eve. And that's why she became woman, a wombed man, because we have a womb, women have wombs, right? But she came forth from his rib. And scientifically, it's been proven that your rib can, let me even take a detour so you guys don't think I'm tripping. It's actually been scientifically proven that a rib can like remake itself. A rib can regenerate. A rib can regenerate. Because some people's arguments will be like, oh, but then he's missing a rib, blah blah, so it can't be true, blah blah blah. Scientific, we're not even looking at what the Bible's saying now. Ribs can regenerate. I want to stick it here on the video so you can see that I'm not bugging. Ribs can heal and regenerate. They do this through a natural process of bone repair. So Eve came from his rib probably repaired, problem solved. From one creation, that creation then multiplied and produced more things. So let's look at it from a business front. Let's look at Adam as a business or a business project. Yeah. So Adam's a business project. Okay. I have created you. Cool. From your business project, your business should then multiply because now from your business, you have Eve. Eve has come through now. Now you have Adam, and a product of that is Eve. Now, if you put these two things together, they multiply and they make children, and they make children, and they make children, and they make children. That's your one business project, yeah. Your one thing that you start off in business, yeah, one thing that you can do in business, yeah, it has to be able to multiply. It has to have the capacity to multiply. That's why you can't stay stagnant. Your business literally can't be like this. It won't survive, especially in a market like this. Things are always changing. Look at what COVID did. Look at what COVID did for the people's businesses. If you can't adapt to the changing world and the environment, you will crash. You will crash and burn very soon. And if you look at the businesses that have lasted for generations and generations, because they have the ability to adapt, but not only adapt, they're able to grow in time, they're able to multiply. Like Amazon, you started off in a shed, now look at it. Amazon could never go down because they are the second highest employer in America. If you want people still working, you better keep Amazon up. That's what I'm saying. Second highest employer in America. If you look at that, it started in a shed, but it's definitely not in a shed now. It's definitely not in a shed now. Because the thing with business, it has to evolve, it has to multiply. Look at Adam, Eve, from Eve, children, multiplication, multiplication, and filled the whole earth from that one thing, birthed so many different people. Cool. Now, this is where I kind of like this. God didn't just make Adam and Eve. That was one of his many, if I'm talking in business terms, that wasn't one of his many projects, right? But you can see from one project, it then is self-sustaining. God doesn't always need to be there now to hold your hand in that process. It's multiplying by itself and it doesn't need you to always be there, right? And that's the same with a business project that you could start. You could start off in a particular area. If you want to have multiple businesses, cool, in different areas, fine, no problem. But you start off with one thing, you might be fully hands on with something. That thing then multiplies, that thing then grows, it grows, it grows. You hire more staff, you get a bit bigger building. So the amount of work you were doing at the beginning, when it grows and multiplies, you won't be requiring to do as much work because as it grows and the capacity builds for it, you will be able to put things in place to make sure that that business continues to thrive and succeed, right? Cool, to a point where you don't need to be holding that part of that project by their hands. You don't need to hold it by its hands because now it's multiplying by itself, multiplying by itself. It's multiplying by itself, and that's where the generational wealth thing comes as well because you don't have to be there 24/7 for that thing to multiply. It's just doing it naturally by itself. You've started it, you've given it a good foundation, you've shown the business project what needs to happen, XYZ. You've put the things in place from an operational point of view. You've put a good structure in place, and now the thing is multiplying by itself. Now in your sleep, you're just making money. You don't even know you're making money. You're just making money in your sleep. Making money in your sleep. Making money in your sleep. Cool. Like I said, Adam was not God's only project. If we talk straight business, Adam was not his only project. God did other things. Look, I've got, don't take it from me. Don't take it from me, love. Don't take it from me. Take it from the word. Take it from the word. I just had it open as well. Genesis at the beginning. If you didn't know, it's at the beginning. Okay. So it says God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void. Right? Okay, cool. Let's get to a point where God has made something like so he made the heavens and the earth, cool. And then from the earth, the earth brought forth grass and herbs that yield seed, and the fruit tree that yields food according to its own fruit according to its own kind. So you see, God created the earth, and then from the earth brought forth grass, and from that brought forth what's it called? The herb that yields seed. So that's another project. Now we're talking about having a portfolio that's diverse. You're diversifying your portfolio. You've not just got this one thing that is multiplying and regenerating by itself. You've now also got another project, another venture that's multiplying by itself. Because here it says the herb that yields seed. So it's not just a herb with no seed. What do we know about seeds? Watch my other video, be fruitful. Watch that video. Still don't know why it's not banging. Still don't understand. The gems in that thing, yeah, I'm gonna keep screaming till all of you get it. The gems in that video, go watch the other video, be fruitful. But the thing about a seed is that from the seed you have more. And you don't just have one seed, you have plenty of seeds. So you have more and more and more and more. So you can see how God didn't just have one project, he just made Adam and Eve boom. That was even one of the last things that he did. But he had another project. And from making the earth, yeah, from the earth then brought forth the grass. The grass then brought forth a herb with a seed, well, with seed that can yield, and that then brought forth the trees and all of these other things. So you can see how the one thing that he made again now started to multiply and multiply and multiply and multiply. And that's a different stream. That's a different stream of, in the business terms, income. And he didn't just make that as well. He didn't just make that. He made so many different things. Just read Genesis 1 year. Made the stars, made the heavens. He made, I could go through all of this. Then he made the birds of the air. He made the sea creatures that move around. All of these different categories of things that he made are different in business terms, different things that you could do in business. You could have this thing that you start, that thing starts to regenerate and multiply by itself. You can take a step back from it. Cool, that thing is making money by itself. Now look at your next project. Look at your next project. That thing, you birth that thing, it starts to grow, it starts to multiply, it starts to do those things by itself. Now you can take a step back. Now you look at another project. Look at that. That thing is birthed. Now it's growing, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing by itself. You can take another step back. You can see how God had his hands in all these different things. He created because he's a creator. The fifth word, he created. So by nature, all these things are because he's moving in his creative ability, which he has, and he's given us the same ability. So from a business point of view, this is a whole mad thing. It's a whole mad thing because in Genesis 1, God is showing us how to do business. He's literally showing us how to do business. And I don't understand how I didn't come across this before. The amount of times I've read Genesis 1 is a joke. It's a joke at this point. I absolutely love Genesis 1 creation. It's a joke at this time. But the interesting thing is that it's very clear. It's very clear in black and white that God is a creator and that he created and then we are his creation. And he said to us, we're in his image and likeness. So if he can create so many different things and those things start to multiply by themselves, we too can do the same. We too can literally do the same. And we have the ability, he's granted us with the ability and the grace to do those things as well. And that's exactly how he wants us to move. We have to be creative. We literally have to be creative. That's why I get on to people that just sit down and do nothing all day. They're just wasting away, wasting away. Get into your creative bag. And people don't think that they're creative. By nature, you are. If we're basing this on this, God created, we're made in his image and likeness. You're creative some way, somehow. And creative doesn't mean you have to be like into like those, everyone's got a different way of being creative. Someone could be creative in writing, someone can be creative in the way that they cook things, someone's creative in the way that they clean, someone's creative in the way that they do business, someone's creative in the way that they draw, that they whatever. There's different levels of creativity. So don't look at the standard stereotypical creativity and think that you match up with that. You might not, but it doesn't mean that you're not creative. Full stop. It just means that that type of creativity is not part of you. And until you start creating until you start doing your own things, you won't really be fulfilling this. You won't be fulfilling that. Um. Yeah. Shout out to Jesus Christ. I don't have any more to say on that topic. I'll probably do another video now about something else. But this one, it just came literally from God. And it's just interesting because it's something that I come across all the time, but I don't know how I missed it. But the more you read, the more God will show you. Just ask him to open your eyes and to read and to understand the verse behind the letter. Just ask him to understand, and he'll show you some things. But I hope you found that useful. I hope that made sense. It certainly made sense to me. I had a whole eureka moment when I was like, oh my days, this has been in front of me the whole time. The whole time. And I didn't see it. Anyways, let me go create. Until next time, people. Ciao.